Have you ever loved someone so much that the thought of leaving this world without them knowing your feelings was more terrifying than death itself? For YN, that wasn't a hypothetical fear. It was her reality. She was a girl with a secret, a quiet shadow in the bustling hallways of her high school. Her secret wasn't just her love for Jungkook, the boy with the starry eyes who was a year her senior. It was the fragile, failing heart beating inside her chest, a heart that was slowly giving up on her. She admired Jungkook from afar, stealing glances, storing every smile and every laugh like precious treasures. She thought he never noticed, but he did. He'd pretend to read just to watch her sketch in the library, his own heart doing a little flip whenever she was near. It was a secret dance of two souls, both too scared to take the first step. But for YN, time was a luxury she didn't have. The sterile scent of antiseptic was the smell of her mortality. Y/N sat on the cold examination table, the crinkle of the paper sheet beneath her loud in the silent room. Her cousin, Kim Taehyung, stood before her, but today he wasn't her playful, doting cousin. Today he was Dr. Kim, and his face was a canvas of grim news. The numbers are dropping faster than we anticipated, YN, Taehyung said, his voice soft but devoid of its usual warmth. He held up the dark films of her latest scans, images that looked like storm clouds gathering over her fragile heart. The medication, it's not holding, it's failing. YN's hands, resting in her lap, began to tremble. She clasped them together, a futile attempt to still the tremor that was less about fear and more about the sheer exhaustion of the fight. How much time? She whispered, the question hanging in the air between them. Taehyung knelt before her, his tall frame folding so he could look into her eyes. We can't wait. Your parents and I, we've discussed it. We have to schedule the surgery. Now. The surgery. The one with the terrifyingly low success rate. The one they had spoken of in hushed, hopeful tones as a last resort. Hearing it now, stated as an immediate necessity, made it feel terrifyingly real. The one with the 20% success rate, her voice was a hollow echo. It's a risk, he admitted, his own eyes glistening. He took her cold, small hands in his warm, steady ones. A monumental one, but it's a risk for a chance. YN, a chance at a real life, not just this, waiting. We have to believe in a miracle. YN looked past him, out the window at the gray, overcast sky that perfectly mirrored the landscape of her soul. Her heart, the very organ that was betraying her, felt like a trapped, frantic bird beating against its cage. Later that evening, Taehyung drove her home. Seeing her despondent silence, he made an unplanned stop. Come on, he said, forcing a cheerful tone. You need your favorite triple chocolate fudge brownie, doctor's orders. At the Sweet Haven Bakery, the rich aroma of sugar and chocolate was a small comfort. When Taehyung presented her with the brownie, a tiny, genuine smile touched her lips. Overwhelmed by his kindness in the face of her despair, she threw her arms around him in a tight, grateful hug. Thank you, Tay-Tay, for everything. Unseen by them, across the street, Jungkook was walking home. His eyes, which had a habit of finding YN even in a crowd, locked onto the scene. He saw her radiant, albeit sad smile. He saw the handsome, older boy who made her smile. He saw the intimate, heartfelt hug. A sharp, unfamiliar pain lanced through him. The hope he'd secretly nurtured, the hope that one day he'd find the courage to talk to her, shattered. He turned away. his own heart feeling a rejection that hadn't even happened. His world suddenly tinted with the bitter hue of jealousy and heartbreak. That night, YN lay in bed, shivering with a fever that was as much emotional as physical. Her journal was open beside her, every page a testament to her silent love for Jungkook. There were sketches of him laughing in the hallway, of the way he pushed his hair back when he was concentrating, of the gentle curve of his smile under the old oak tree in the school courtyard. She clutched a beautifully wrapped box containing a luxurious, expensive hoodie she'd saved for months to buy. A single hot tear escaped and landed on the silken ribbon, darkening the red fabric. "I'm so scared," she whispered into the darkness, her voice choked, not of dying, but of disappearing from this world, without him ever knowing he was my entire world. He was the reason I fought for so long. She closed her eyes, a desperate resolve solidifying within her. Tomorrow, on his birthday, I'll tell him everything. No more regrets. The next day at school, the gift bag felt like a lead weight in her hands. Her heart hammered a painful, irregular rhythm against her ribs, a constant, frightening reminder of its fragility. She waited for the lunch break, her courage waning with every passing second. Finally, she saw him, walking alone down the mostly empty hallway. Jungkook? Her voice was barely a whisper, but it stopped him in his tracks. He turned. His expression was closed off, a stark contrast to the warm, open face she had admired for so long. "What is it?" he asked, his tone flat. Can you please give me 5 minutes? There's something I need to say." Her heart felt like it was going to beat right out of her chest. He sighed, a sound of impatience that made her flinch, but he nodded. She took a deep, shuddering breath, and the words began to tumble out, rushed and vulnerable. "I know you might find this strange, but I've loved you for so long. From the moment I saw you under that old oak tree on my first day. I love the way your eyes disappear when you laugh. I love how kind you are to everyone, even when you're tired. You're the reason I looked forward to coming to this stupid school every day. You're my reason." Jungkook's face remained a stony mask. He didn't smile. He didn't react. He simply tried to sidestep her. "I have to go." Desperation clawed at her throat. "Please," she pleaded, her hand darting out to grab his wrist. "Just say something." He looked down at her hand on his arm as if it were a stain. Then his gaze, dark and stormy, snapped up to her face. For a split second, she saw something raw and wounded in his eyes, but it was gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by a chilling coldness. "You want me to say something? Fine. Don't say things you don't mean. I'm not a game for you to play." She was stunned into silence. "What? A game? Jungkook, I saw you." He cut her off, his voice rising, laced with a bitterness he could no longer control. "Last night, with that guy at the brownie shop, you were all over him, laughing, hugging him. And now you come to me with this confession? What am I to you? Your backup plan? Your pathetic second choice?" His words were daggers, each one striking true. The pain in her chest exploded, a white-hot, searing agony that stole the very air from her lungs. The hallway began to tilt and spin, the colors blurring into a nauseating swirl. Her grip on his wrist tightened, not in plea anymore, but as her only anchor to consciousness as the world faded at the edges. "No, it's not like that," she gasped, her face turning a deathly ashen pale. Her eyes, wide and terrified, remained fixed on his face. She was memorizing him, tracing every line, every curve, every lash, as if trying to burn his image into her soul to take with her into the impending darkness. A single, silent tear traced a path down her cold cheek,